Mismatch refers to a lack of alignment between different parts of the story. In most cases, this usually spells disaster. It messes with the audience expectations, disrupts the tone, and leaves the narrative feeling disjointed. But when mismatch is used the right way, it can create emotional depth that's unexpected and powerful. Hey, my name's Ellie. Today we are going to explore how Frieren uses mismatch to enhance the emotional experience of the story. And here's a spoiler warning for Frieren Beyond Journey's End. In Frieren, the relationship between Himo and Frieren is incredibly touching. I often wonder how much sweeter it would be if Himo was still alive. But it's precisely because he has passed away that we see a powerful mismatch between their relationship and their emotional distance. In other words, Himo and Frieren's psychological connection stands in stark contrast to their physical separation. At the start of the story, they are physically together but emotionally distant. When Himo returns the Shadow Dragon's horn to Frieren, he claims it's an important object he was entrusted with. Yet at the moment, Frieren, who was called by Himo as the crucial partner, thinks this is nothing special. So even though they can still meet in person, their emotional distance feels cold and detached. But after Himo dies, when Frieren looks back on their journey, she starts to understand him on a deeper level. The unbridgeable gap of death actually brings them closer emotionally. This kind of mismatch gives me a bittersweet feeling. While watching the show, I feel comforted as Frieren begins to understand Himo, but also deeply sad knowing that they might never meet again. This layered emotional experience really adds the depth. In contrast, typical love stories can feel a bit flat. They usually align distance with feelings. For instance, two people are together when they are in love and apart when they are not. While that is straightforward, it lacks emotional layers, making it hard to really appreciate. In most adventure and battle-themed stories, authors often heighten emotional engagement through plot twists. For example, a main character may seem defeated but suddenly turns the tables. Or when a character seems to have a sure win, everything takes a sudden turn. However, Frieren hardly ever goes for this sudden twist or intense conflicts, especially before the exam arc. For instance, the NPC shows up exactly when they are needed. The main character doesn't spend a lot of time gathering clues like in a mystery drama. Battle scenes are similarly straightforward. Fights against Qual, the dragon, and Lugnar are resolved quickly and without much suspense. This might disappoint viewers who are used to thrilling action and drama. But in a story like Frieren, this muted plotting is the key for digging into the characters' inner lives. Take Stark's defeat of the dragon as an example. The plot has no major twist, yet it draws Stark's memories and forces him to face his inner barriers. This fear and personal growth are more significant than the battle itself. In this character arc, whether he defeats the dragon or the Demon King becomes secondary. Instead, we are really cheering for his growth. In traditional anime, characters often change their emotions to influence the outcome of battles. Their goal is not about internal changes, it's mostly about defeating enemies, and mental shifts become just a means to the end. As a result, clever tactics, plot twists, and power upgrades often take center stage. On the other hand, battles and conflicts in Frieren mainly help highlight the character's psychological changes, so winning isn't the main goal. The focus shifts from the ups and downs of battle to the character's inner thoughts and memories. This character-driven approach is a lot like Fujimoto's style, so interested viewers might want to check out this video. Although I'm not saying one way is better than the other, for those who enjoy nuanced emotional storytelling, the simplicity of the plot allows more space for audiences to really focus on characters' feelings, think about their motivations, and uncover the subtle emotions woven throughout the story. There are many moments in Frieren where the characters' reactions are pretty restrained, sometimes even using joy to contrast sadness. For instance, during Himo's funeral, Frieren has a blank expression while Haita is laughing. When they part ways, Haita jokingly says he's not far from death. Aging and death typically come with a lot of emotional intensity, but in Frieren, characters don't burst into tears or fall into despair. Instead, they talk about these topics casually. This contrast makes us admire their optimism and resilience, adding another layer of sympathy to our sadness about their upcoming misfortunes. And speaking of this, we need to talk about the core character, Frieren. Her character setup shapes the entire emotional tone of the story. As an elf, she doesn't really grasp the concept of time, so the ups and downs that affect ordinary humans don't hit her as hard. Therefore, when Haida says he's nearing death or when Isa admits he's aging, Frieren's expression doesn't even change. While they're on their journey, even when they're recalling past events, she hardly shows any emotions. She doesn't label her experiences as time of suffering or joy. She just quietly presents her memories to the audience. This writing approach has two upsides. First, it fits perfectly with Frieren's character. Having lived for over 1,000 years, she has been through countless moments of pain and joy, making them feel pretty mundane. If she reacted dramatically to minor events, it wouldn't feel right to the audience. Second, by simply showing her memories without labeling them, the audience has more room to interpret them. We instinctively wonder about the reasons she recalls a specific memory and significance behind each one, digging into her psyche and revealing her deepest emotions. This interpretation adds depth to her character. In contrast, if Frieren acted strongly to every memory, it would be easy for audience to judge her mental logic, making her character feel flat. So this work cleverly avoids the need for big emotional outbursts. When past and present experiences come through Frieren, the sadness that builds in the story gently flows like a stream, creating the core essence of the work, restrained sorrow. Thank you for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one.